So a lot of people are talking about World War III. A lot of people are concerned, they're anxious, and this trend, this topic has been in the news, especially because of the stuff that's happening in the Middle East. And as it's being amplified by more people taking sides, more countries coming to arms and just supporting this side or that side, and you have Russia this, China this, the US this, and people talking in certain countries about joining the war and all these things. And then other channels, other people drafting nuclear worst case scenarios when, stuff hits the fan, what are you going to do? And so this topic has been very heavy on the minds of a lot of people, and if in some sense rightly so. But I want to give a quick word from the perspective of what God is doing in the nation, in the land, in the world right now. I've said before, we are in a time for which God is testing us, and he's going to reveal the hearts of man. And this doesn't happen until something comes to the precipice, to the forefront, for people to really be tested in terms of where they stand. The first thing that needs to be brought out is your heart posture, your motive, and where you stand. And this doesn't happen just in a vacuum. So unless you are presented with the situation for which you have to, in some sense, pick a side, give your thought process, your opinion on something, then it's not going to come out. And so you've seen it time and time again with many other issues, everything from LGBTQ to your school systems, your education, the political debate, voting for somebody, and all these things. A lot of believers and Christians, they've been ignoring it. They've been brushing it off until it hit their doorstep and until they had something to lose for it. And so they had to make, in some sense, a stance, and you couldn't just tippy-toe around it. You couldn't be neutral. You couldn't just brush it under the rug until it mattered to you. And so this has been the case for many, many topics, time and time again. And one of the things that's happening right now is, what do you think of other countries, other religions, other stances, and also different layers of consuming information? You just don't take things at face value. People have been lied to about hospital bombings, about different, murders and whatever war atrocities have happened. And people are now waking up and like, oh, wow, I guess there is propaganda. I guess people are in error when they report certain journalistic things, right? And so this has happened in the last few weeks and since the Hamas attacks and all this stuff, right? And so people are waking up to this fact. And in order for you to believe and understand, for people, right, not just you watching, but for people to believe, oh, I guess there is an agenda. Oh, I guess there is some kind of other, warmongering, fear-mongering type of thing. There is maybe some people trying to push us to war, to have a reset or whatever this stuff is. And until you are shown, you can't be told, you have to be shown until it's done, then you will not understand it. So this is what's happening for many, many issues and topics. And the topic of World War III, of what is it that you want for your future? So these things are happening. And I believe that God, he's going to give you a chance to either accept, right, peace and wanting to have righteousness for your country, for your laws, and to do the right thing. Or if you want to succumb to the fear and to just this division and all this stuff, then you can have that as well. A lot of people are jumping on the bandwagon of, we need to kill these people. We need to go against this person, free Palestine, or Israel. I stand with Israel. You have all these people on different sides, and it's in the comment section of a lot of influencers, a lot of people that never talk about these issues. It's being presented to them, and now they're forced to, in some sense, take a stand or speak out about it. And for those that thought they can just go under the radar, fly under the radar, and do nothing about it, they're being shown what their position is and their posture is. And I believe God is testing the people of this world, the nations, to say, do you want to figure out and dissect and think through the rational reasoning behind certain things? You were ignoring these people, these ethnic things, these racial things, these tensions, and you've been trying to just kind of hush it. But now, because it's at your doorstep, in some sense, if you want to talk about that from the perspective of those getting hit in the crossfire in the Middle East, this is now presented in front of you for you to think through and to really have a open-mindedness, a discussion about it. All of the things for which mankind, history, everything that's happened so far, whether it's political, social, racial, whether it's psychological, just various topics, right? Religious topics, business, financial topics. It's being presented to you right now. And I believe that much more is to come. Much more will be presented to you. You will have an opportunity to think through, to wrestle with, to digest all these topics, and then you will have a position. You will be in a stronger position for you to really look and dig and research these things. People have been researching about, oh wow, now I have opened my eyes to the CIA, to all of the stuff that's happened behind the scenes from the perspective of a global world power and what's going on beyond what's at surface level. And so I believe that this fear-mongering, this warmongering, all this stuff is being played up. There isn't going to be some crazy war. There isn't going to be some nuclear war, but it's being done to wake you up, to get you to think critically, to get you to question certain things, to see what the narrative is, and then wake up to that. And things that have otherwise just been, you know what, we don't need to talk about it. It's awkward. It's weird. Just keep it professional, keep it neutral, keep it politically correct. All of these things are going away because you now have to discuss and to wrestle with these things. And this, in turn, is going to allow you to mature. It's allowing you to have a more critical, deeper, wider outlook on life, on the world, on current events, and how you will have to be prepared as a believer, as a Christian, for the end times and going through this next period of being a deeper, more mature, a better critical thinker. And so this is what's happening. Nothing's going to happen with regards to the world blowing up and all these people, dying. Yes, there's collateral damage. Yes, there's going to be a cleaning house of sorts. There's going to be misunderstandings and people have to, in some sense, fight it off. And it's sad. There's going to be innocent lives lost, unfortunately. There's going to be collateral damage. There's going to be certain things. But for the purpose of figuring out what evil there is, what needs to be brought to justice, what kind of events have to wake people up and to get people moving in a certain direction that God himself, through his sovereign hand, has to do and use. This is what's happening right now. And so I'm saying, be calm. I've said before in a different video, when you hear of wars and rumors of wars, see that you're not afraid, you're not anxious, you're not that the end is not near yet, that all these things must happen. They have to come to pass. And so for you, as you're thinking through your attitude, your posture, your perspective, just very carefully consider all of the things that are happening. Everything from conspiracy, everything down to figuring out the truth, despite it sounding cuckoo and crazy. But what really is going on behind the scenes? It's not as simple as a 1, 2, 3. And also, some people, their hand is being played. They're being strong-armed into submission, into doing certain things. And so we don't know what that is. We don't know who has the full power. And a lot of people do, right? Meaning if you've done the research and you know that despite all of the history of what's going on with certain countries, I won't name all of them, but Iran, right? Saudi Arabia, these guys that are having their hand in some sense, the cookie jar. What are they doing? So people are figuring this out and people are figuring and tying things together. You were lied to, you were deceived back in 9/11 and before that with all of the Iraq stuff, with all of the stuff before that in the 90s and 80s. All of this stuff now is coming to light. You're being educated. We have the internet. We have other people that are strong voices trying to educate people. Be very cautious what you hear and how you respond during this time. It's going to be good, but at the expense of some difficult times ahead. And God says in the Bible that this has to happen. The end is not yet, but it has to come to pass and you will see it. So love you guys. Be encouraged. Keep praying. We want resolution. We're going to get through it. Love you guys. Talk to you guys very soon.